So, I've been a successful media professional in the US for the past 15, 20 years. I've held impressive sounding titles, editor-in-chief, chief content officer at impressive sounding companies, Condé Nast, Yahoo. I've worked for famous Hollywood people you know. I've written an acclaimed career guide that not only made my mother proud, but was also recommended by the New York Times. I've been on television with Anderson Cooper, and one time I even met Michelle Obama, who is as amazing as you might imagine. But still, I'm nervous as hell to be here today. I feel shaky and wobbly and a little bit unworthy, and not at all confident that I should be on this stage. But let me let you in on a secret, and I've been thinking about this for a long time, sort of rolling it around and around in my head, and I've come to the conclusion that confidence and everything we've been taught about confidence, all the Wonder Woman posing, all the fake it till we make it tropes, all the bossed up, boss bitch hashtags, all the confidence porn, it's all bullshit. Confidence has become a commercial industry. We're bombarded with it. Step into any bookstore, and you will find dozens of books of how to boost your confidence, build your confidence, crack the confidence code, as if it's hidden in a safe and we have to steal it. We want to make our confidence unstoppable, unbreakable, irresistible, powerful. As societies of ambitious, achievement-obsessed individuals, we've overemphasized and fetishized confidence to a degree that it seems like a requirement for success and even personal survival, even though it's not. We've been told that confidence is a fixed state, that once you get it, once you crack open that safe and steal it away, that's when the self-esteem party starts. These messages are meant to be empowering and inspiring, but they can actually feel overwhelming and confusing. As we move further and further into a gig economy, as the traditional career ladder is thrown away more and more and full-time jobs are harder to find, as young people are forced to find piecemeal work, these messages of, just put yourself out there and be confident and the world will come to you, they can ring hollow. Because this is confidence as a pose or a posture, a false narrative we tell about ourselves on social media. In real life, and for most of us, confidence is fleeting and fragile. You can't count on it. One day you'll be strutting around a conference room all fired up to give a presentation, and the next you might find yourself hiding in the office kitchen, eating your feelings, paralyzed in a full panic. Success and hard drive and confidence have been so inextricably linked in our collective consciousness that it's hard to imagine one without the other. But I know definitively that confidence is not a requirement for success, and I know this because last year I lost all of my confidence, and I was forced to reckon with what happens when the cape gets ripped off. Last year, I was fired from my high-profile, impressive-sounding, fancy-titled job. It was not the first time I'd been fired, but it was the first in more than a decade, the first since I started caring about what I did for a living, the first since I started consistently wearing bras to work, if I'm honest. The way I was fired was dramatic and humiliating. It was the way you see firing on TV. Security guards, less than an hour to pack my things, computer seized, email shut down, the whole thing. There was no time to send one of those chirpily vague farewell emails, those? No time to check my computer for personal files. No time to say goodbye to my beloved staff, and no time to think. Instead, in less than 60 minutes, I handed in my badge, was frog marched out by security to my car, where I sat with my boxes, which were mostly filled with Post-its, because that's the shit we collect in offices, I don't know why. And I sat in my car, heavy with shock and shame, a lot of shame. Research shows that the brain handles the loss of a job in a similar way to the way we respond to the loss of a loved one. And in the weeks following this dramatic firing, I sailed through all the Kubler-Ross stages of grief. There was a satisfying, expletive-filled pit stop at anger. Fuck those fucking fuckers. But then, surprisingly, as this had never been in my nature, I landed squarely in depression, where I remained for months. After I was fired, my friends tried to cheer me up. People in my life, as they do, they meant well. They said things like, "You just need to get your confidence back. Oh, just find some confidence, put yourself out there." But I couldn't. I put pressure on myself to crack my own confidence code. But instead, I spent the summer blaming myself, panicking, feeling like a loser, wearing soft pants, eating ice cream with chips, and crying into my beer or whatever other alcohol was around. When the dust settles in any crisis, there's an inventory. What do we have? What do we need? What's left? And I realized I was taking my inventory wrong. I'd mismeasured my stock. My value was not tied up in how confident I was or how confident I could pretend to be. In that moment of feeling low and shaken and self-doubting, I didn't need some tidy notion of confidence or an inspiring confidence meme. That's because picking ourselves up from failure requires something sturdy to hold on to. And ultimately, the way I re-engaged with my career, picked myself up out of that rut, and found work that I love again, was not to rely on confidence, but these far more sturdy C words instead. The first thing I needed was I needed to rediscover my competence. You know, when we get knocked down, we forget our core skills. We forget our unique abilities and what the good that we bring to work. So what I did was, instead of finding a new job, I actually wanted short-term work where I could prove my value very quickly. I took on assignments that were junior to me. I did things I hadn't done for years, menial editing work, small writing assignments. I re-engaged with my industry, and I caught up on trends I'd let pass me by. And in the process, I remembered what I liked and was good at in work. And it's not just me, this lady, saying that competence is important. Researchers have found that competence, the ability to do a task and do it well, is one of the key indicators of happiness at work. In his book, The Happy Brain, neuroscientist Dean Burnett found that competence, our brains have an innate desire for competence. And it's an instinctive need. And because work provides us with an opportunity to do a task over and over again until we get it right, it satisfies this need, and it makes us happier. But also, you don't need neuroscience or research to tell you that confidence without competence is problematic. Because what is it really? It's a scam, right? It's hollow, it's a show. Confidence without competence gives us Elizabeth Holmes of Theranos. It gives us the American Fire Festival. I don't know if you guys followed that, but that thing was a mess. Confidence without competence gives us Donald Trump. And I'm just going to leave that there. Oh, wait. Here we go. The next thing I needed was I needed to reconnect with my community. The people I trusted and respected and had been cultivating relationships with for years and I knew I could rely on. Now, we often confuse networking and community. Networking, this dreary, dreadful, transactional sort of social hell, at least that's what it is for me. But networking and community are very different. Networking is small talk and niceties. It's a check on your LinkedIn. Community, real give a damn connection with other people is harder. It requires us to be accountable and authentic. It requires us to not only be a part of something, but to allow ourselves to be shaped by something. Community requires us to show up even when we don't want to, even when it's inconvenient. Community is the willingness to be changed and challenged by a group of people, to be part of something bigger than yourself. And I'll tell you, and I'm not going to get into details because they're too personal, but when I was that low and in the soft pants and eating the ice cream, I don't know what I would have done without my community. I certainly would not be standing here today. But community and competence really mean very little without this next C word, which is commitment. Too often in our professional lives and our regular lives, we sort of stumble into things, right, without thinking about them too much or without even knowing if we really like them. We make decisions based on fear or external pressure. At its best, commitment is intentional, it's present, it's grown up. It's asking yourself before embarking upon a new opportunity, do I know enough about this job or this assignment or this project to be willing to commit my time and energy to this? Is this what I want in my life next? Do I want to commit my life to this, at least for a little while? Or am I making this decision out of fear or complacency or because I think it's what I'm supposed to do? So that job that I got fired from, that fancy, impressive sounding, high profile job, I'll tell you another secret, I never wanted it. But it was so impressive and so fancy and so high profile, and everybody told me I should take it. And so when I was offered it, I did. But it was the wrong job for me. And it was particularly the wrong job at that time in my life. And I never fully committed to it. I was not my best at it. I always had one foot out the door. And fired or not, that lack of commitment left me feeling miserable and rotting inside the entire time I was there. Looking back, I realized all of my biggest failures were like this, all born out of a lack of commitment, out of letting fear and uncertainty leave me lazy or complacent. Our most satisfying work experiences spring from authentic moments, from overcoming challenges, surprising ourselves, acquiring skills, connecting with other people, all of which are hard to achieve if we're putting on some polished confidence veneer. The desire and the temptation to put on a confidence costume springs from our deepest fears, that we're unworthy, that we're imposters, that we're the worst. But confidence and faking confidence doesn't eradicate these fears, it exacerbates them. What brought me here today was not confidence, it was committing to my work. It was knowing that I'm good at what I do. But more than anything, it was reaching out to my community and saying I need help and having them do just that. Imagine if instead of searching for confidence we might not find, we instead focused on being great at our jobs, committing passionately to our work, connecting with other people in real and meaningful ways, and being compassionate with ourselves and others. This is the last C word, I snuck it in, but really, until we can love and be kind to ourselves, none of the rest of this matters at all. This is the image I want out of work. This idea of commitment, competence, compassion, connection. This is my vision for my ideal working situation, and maybe it's yours too. So I encourage you, instead of pressuring yourself to search for confidence you might not find, to focus on these far more worthy C words instead. Thank you.